জয় রাধা কুঞ্জ গোপী জানা গিরিবার গোপী জানা গিরিবার
Hare Krishna. So we would like to welcome all the devotees for the 6-day celebration of Srila Prabhupada Memorial Festival and 76th Vyas Puja of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj. And today is the third day of the seminar. Today is the third and the final day of the seminar, and Guru Maharaj is giving seminar on teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And today Guru Maharaj will be talking about teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami. And we request all the devotees to kindly hear the lecture attentively and participate in the quiz. And all the participants who will secure above 80% will get a certificate and a lot of mercy from Guru Maharaj. From yesterday, we have the summary which is compiled by His Grace Chitta Hari Krishna Prabhu in the poem form, poetic form. जय जय उज्ज्वल रस सर्व रस सार माधुर्य प्रेम रूपी संबंध श्रेष्ठता का आधार चैतन्य महाप्रभु का प्राकट्य लेकर आया ब्रज प्रेम वरना तो इस जगत में संघर्षी है एकमात्र गेम 5 संबंधों में भगवान की हो सकती है भक्ति माधुर्य प्रेम में सबसे गहरी है कृष्ण के प्रति आसक्ति यह प्रेम यह शिक्षाएं कैसे कोई समझ पाता यदि चैतन्य महाप्रभु रूपी कृपा का सागर हमारे जीवन में न आता ब्रह्मा के एक दिन में इतना दुर्लभ समय है आता जब बद्ध जीव इस प्रकार का सौभाग्य है पाता उस पर सोने पर सुहागा श्रील प्रभुपाद का आगमन गुरुदेव आपकी कृपा से ही मिला यह अद्भुत जीवन हरे कृष्ण So thank you Chitta Hari Krishna for compiling such a nice poem and summarizing yesterday's session. So we can continue the third session of teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to see all of you. All glory to Mr. Zoom. Hare Krishna. So I'll go straight to the topic. Today we'll discuss about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to Srila Rupa Goswami. So as you all know, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami were two brothers. Both of them were engaged in a very high position in the court of the king of Bengal. At that time, Bengal was under the Muslim domination. There was a king called Hussein Shah, and although he was a Muslim, but his chief minister and the finance minister were two Hindus, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. So that actually shows how brilliant they must have been, that the Muslims appointed them in the most responsible position in his kingdom. So Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to Vrindavan. He stopped in Ramkeli village where Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami were living. It was not exactly, it's close to, you can say, a suburb of the capital of King Hussein Shah. And it was actually, they were in the capital itself, called Malda. And the area where they were living is called Ramkeli. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met them there. And after meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both of them decided to quit their job as the ministers and just follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami was the first one to quit, and then Sanatan Goswami wanted to quit. I will discuss about Sanatan Goswami when we discuss about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sanatan Goswami. But Rupa Goswami left. He had so much wealth that he had to carry those wealth. Those days, money was in the form of coins, gold coins, silver coins, copper coins, things like that. So he carried his wealth in gold coin in a boat. So you can really imagine how much wealth he must have had at the time. And Prabhupada mentioned that the way Rupa Goswami distributed his wealth before retiring from his family life, that he gave half of his wealth to the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, and 1/4 he gave to his family members, and 1/4 he kept in reserve for some future need. So in this way, Rupa Goswami left home along with his other brother. His name was Anupam. In the meantime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan, and after spending some time in Vrindavan, when he was returning, he stopped in Prayag, which is today's Allahabad, where three rivers, Ganga, Jamuna, and Saraswati, meet, the confluence of Ganga, Jamuna, and Saraswati. Now Saraswati has disappeared, went underground. And it's visible as the confluence of Ganga and Jamuna. And there he met Srila Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami at first did not approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was just watching him from a distance. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Bindu Madhav temple, and thousands of people are following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Rupa Goswami and Anupam just watched Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from a distance. And then eventually they met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to meet them. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took them with him to the house of Ballavacharya. And Ballavacharya was a very well-known, very well-reputed scholar of that time. He was also very wealthy. He was being patronized by a king. And Rupa Goswami came with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a very humble way. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced Rupa Goswami to Ballavacharya as a devotee. Ballavacharya also appreciated him, said that one who is chanting the holy name of the Lord, no matter how humbly he wants to present himself, he should be considered to be the greatest of all living entities. So this is how Ballavacharya, although Rupa Goswami was very humbly presenting himself, but he recognized him as a very, very exalted. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 days on the bank of the Ganges. And his instruction actually started by saying that there are 8,400,000 species of life, and out of them Sthavara Navalakshani, the non-moving living entities like trees and plants are 9.9 million Navalaksha, 9 lakhs. And Jalaja Laksha being Shruti. I'm sorry, Jalaja Navalakshani, the living entities in the water, aquatics, are 9. And the non-moving trees and plants are 2 million. And Krimaya Rudra Shankhaku, the insects are 1.1 million. And in this way, he just pointed out that 20 are animals and reptiles. And only 4,400,000 are actually living entities. Out of 8,400,000, only 400,000 are living entities, are human beings. And then he pointed out that out of them, most of them are uncivilized. Most of them are uncivilized. The measurement of civilization is on the basis of Vedic scriptures. Those who do not accept the Vedic scriptures or don't lead their lives according to the tenets of Vedic scriptures, they are uncivilized, no matter apparently how civilized externally they may appear to be. So from that context, we can see today most of the people are uncivilized, even in India, because people are not following Vedic culture. And those who follow the Vedic cultures, some of them are just following for the name's sake, but they don't mold their lives according to the Vedic instructions. So this is how he is classifying the living entities. And there very few are civilized, meaning leading their lives according to the Vedic injunctions. And in this way, he just classified different types of people. And also then it comes to that in this way, these living entities are, innumerable living entities are traveling through this universe. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. While wandering through this universe, very few living entities, some fortunate souls, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, receives the seed of Bhakti Lata. Here, bhakti or devotional service to the Lord has been compared to creeper, lata. And so someone gets the seed of that devotional creeper by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Guru Krishna Prasadepai Bhakti Lata Bij. So when one gets that seed, he needs to plant it in the field. So what is the field here where a devotee where one should plant the seed of devotional creeper? In the heart. So there comes also another consideration that the heart should be fertile. If the heart is rocky and unfertile, then the seed will not sprout in there. So we should be very careful that when we receive the seed of devotional service, we should plant in the field and we should prepare the field properly. And then he pointed out that the gardener who plants the seed now should put water. And how does one put water in there? The watering the plant takes place by hearing and chanting. Through hearing and chanting of watering, through hearing and chanting, this seed will sprout into a seedling. And when this seedling sprouts, the two things manifest, two leaves. And those two leaves are Kleshagni and Shubhada. Those seeds, the seedling has two leaves, like you must have noticed when a seed sprouts into a seedling, first comes up with two leaves. And those two leaves are Kleshagni. It destroys all suffering condition. And Shubhada brings all auspiciousness. So this is the result of devotional service. When one receives devotional service, then all suffering disappears and all auspiciousness prevails. So as the gardener, that means the devotee who is cultivating this devotional creeper, as he cultivates it, as he tends it, as he takes care of it, the Bhakti Lata begins to grow. And this Bhakti Lata then penetrates through the covering of the universe. And beyond the universe is Brahma Jyoti. It goes beyond Brahma Jyoti and reaches the Parabrahm, the spiritual world, spiritual sky. And it goes further, enters into Vrindavan. So this is how the devotional creeper will grow as we cultivate this creeper properly through the process of hearing and chanting. And in the course of that, one very important point comes up, that when the Bhakti Lata grows, there's a possibility of weeds also to grow. And the weeds eventually stifle the growth of the main plant, Bhakti Lata. May stifle the growth of Bhakti Lata. So those weeds are Kutinati, Pratisthasha, Jiva Hingsha, like frivolous talk, criticizing, fault finding, desire for distinction, adoration, and profit. These are actually the weeds that grows along with Bhakti Lata. Now, those who have seen how a paddy field is cultivated, you see the paddy field, the rice field is kept covered with water all the time. The advantage is that with the water, the paddy, the rice plants, it grows. But the weeds cannot grow. Weeds get covered over. So the point here is that these detrimental influences of Kutinati, Labh, Puja, Pratishtha, distinction, adoration, profit, the tendency to criticize others and speak frivolously about mundane topics, etc. So these are the weeds. And these weeds can be covered by watering, by water. And what is the water? The water is hearing and chanting. So always absorb or keep yourself busy just hearing and chanting. Then all these detrimental things will not be able to grow. And worst of all is the offenses, aparad, nam aparad. And of all the nam aparads, as you know, Vaishnava aparad is the worst, which has been considered to be mad elephant offense. So be very careful not to commit that Vaishnava aparad. And so when the gardener actually takes care of all that, and as he cultivates, the Bhakti Lata grows, growing, it penetrates through the covering of the universe. There are 7 coverings of the universe. Penetrating beyond that is Biraja and Brahmalok. That's the Biraja river, which is non-different from Brahma Jyoti, spiritual effulgence, bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, Bhaktilata reaches the spiritual sky, Parabhom. And then penetrating through the Parabhom, it comes to Vrindavan. And there in Vrindavan, it gets the shelter or support of Krishna's lotus feet. So you see, a creeper cannot stay. The sustenance of the creeper lies on the shelter of a tree. So here Krishna's lotus feet is the tree where the Bhaktilata takes the shelter. And the creeper grows around the tree. In that way, in the Vedic culture, it has been considered that a man is compared to a tree and a woman is compared to a creeper. And a creeper cannot grow by herself, so creeper needs the shelter of the tree. And as the creeper grows around the tree, the creeper beautifies the tree. And there it produces flowers and fruits. So Bhaktilata begins to flowering and fruit, producing fruits. So that fruit of Bhaktilata is prem, Krishna prem. And that Krishna prem is the ultimate goal of life. Generally, in the mundane platform, there are 4 objectives of life. When one leads his life on the mundane platform, then there are 4 objectives of life. They're dharma, artha, kam, and moksha. The cultivation or performance of religious activities according to the scriptures, which generates piety. And the piety is like the subtle wealth. When one has piety, one can fulfill his desire, calm. And then after fulfilling all his desires, still he becomes frustrated in this material nature, considering that, this place is full of suffering. He wants to get out of the material nature, which is called liberation. So dharma, artha, kama, and moksha are considered to be chaturvarga, the four vargas, the four goals of life. But this Krishna prem is beyond that. So that is called the fifth ultimate achievement. Pancham Purushartha. The ultimate goal is actually Krishna prem. Even liberation is not the goal. Beyond liberation is Krishna prem. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that pure devotion of Krishna is the goal of life. And then he pointed out that as long as the desire for enjoyment in the material nature and even liberation from material bondage is there, one cannot get this Krishna. Bhukti mukti pishachi javad ridi tishtati. This desire for bhukti, enjoyment in the material nature, and liberation, freedom or mukti, freedom or liberation from material bondage, have been compared to a witch, pishachi. So as long as that remain in the heart, pure devotion to the Lord will not be available. Therefore, it has been very, very emphatically pointed out. Get rid of this desire for material enjoyment and even liberation. In some other place, it has been pointed out in Chaitanya Charitamrita that this karma kanda, which is leading to or which is proposing enjoyment in the material nature, and Jnana Kanda, which is actually promoting the concept of liberation, these two scriptures or these two aspects of the Vedas are like two pots of poison. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, although they are parts of the Vedas, two very important aspects of the Vedas, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. Kebali Bishara Bhanda, they are just two pots of poison. Mistaking them to be nectar, if one drinks, then he is doomed. Tar janma adhapati. So this is how it has been very emphatically pointed out that a pure devotee or a devotee should not aspire or desire for enjoyment in this material nature or even liberation from material bondage. And then one gets pure devotional service. So then he described the pure devotional service, prema, intensifies rag, anurag, bhav, and mahabhav. The prema is there, love is there, but that is not the ultimate goal. Like as you cultivate that love, the love becomes intensified. And the example has been given that just as sugarcane, when the sugarcane is boiled, then it becomes gur, brown sugar. It intensifies the sugar. The sugar is further intensified. The brown sugar, it becomes crystal sugar. And then it becomes mishri further. So this is how love for Krishna also becomes more and more intensified as we develop it, as we cultivate it. So this is how Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, instructed Rupa Goswami. And Sneha, Man, Pranay, like these are the different levels of intensity of love. And ultimate is Mahabhav. And this Mahabhav is not meant for ordinary devotees, even pure devotees. And this Mahabhav is experienced only by the gopis of Vrindavan. And the personification of Mahabhav is Srimati Radharani. Krishna is the Rasaraj, and Srimati Radharani is the personification of Mahabhav. And this is, and then pointed out that, so this is how the pure devotional service to Krishna is free from any other desire. Anna bhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmad anamritam. This is the definition that he gave of pure devotion. No other desire besides serving Krishna. Anna bhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmad anamritam. Even the free from the coverings of jnana and karma aspect of the Vedas. Anukullena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. Accepting whatever is favorable to devotional service to Krishna is called the pure devotional service, or uttam bhakti, the highest form of devotion. And then he describes that gradually this it intensifies, and then it comes to different devotees have different relationship with Krishna. And there are 5 such principal relationships, or sthai bhav, principal mellows: neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental, and conjugal. Shantya, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhur. So gradually, these 5 mellows are becoming, these mellows are also, the love in these mellows are also becoming more and more intense. Like Shanta Bhakti, one meditates upon Krishna. The sages, they just meditate upon Krishna. And by doing that, they derive an inconceivable joy just by meditating upon Krishna. And they accept Krishna, they know their identity as parts and parcels of Krishna, but they don't render devotional service. So now the intensity of devotion increases by the attitude of service or love. Like higher than Shanta is Dasya, servitorship. Then higher than Dasya or servitorship is friendship, Sakhya. Higher than Sakhya is Vatsalya or parental. And the highest is conjugal, loving relationship. The relationship that is like that of between a man and a woman. And that also has 2 aspects. One is Shakya and the other is Parakya. The Shakya is the relationship, loving relationship between a man and a woman as husband and wife. And the Parakya is, there is no consideration of even marriage. Just for the sake of love, there is love. There is no social convention or approval. It's just love and love and love. So that has been pointed out. The Shakya is the relationship of Krishna with the queens in Dwarka. And Parakya, Krishna's relationship with the gopis of Vrindavan. In Dwarka, Krishna is married to those queens. Whereas in Vrindavan, there is no consideration of marriage. There is simply the consideration of love. So the love is, they don't care who Krishna is. They don't love Krishna because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their love is, they cannot help but love Krishna. So this is how the loving relationship of the devotees in Vrindavan has been described, the gopis' love for Krishna. And that is considered to be the highest loving devotion. And then it goes further. The gopis, among the gopis, there is Srimati Radha. And her love for Krishna is the highest, the deepest. And so in this way, like Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Rupa Goswami. And on the basis of this instruction, Rupa Goswami actually wrote the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And that's a brilliant writing, brilliant piece of writing. And this is what the Goswamis have done. Nana Shastra Vicharena Nipunam Sadharma Sansthapaku Lokanam Hitakarinam Tribhuvane Manno Shavana Karu. Nana Shastra Vicharena Ekanipunam. Considering, consulting various scriptures, they established one principal religion, Sadharma, the eternal religion of living entity, the Sanatan Dharma. That is the ultimate dharma or the ultimate goal of one's existence. Another way it has been pointed out, dharma means the inherent characteristic of a substance. There are certain qualities that are inherent with the substance. It cannot be separated. Just like light and heat cannot be separated from fire. Wherever there is fire, there must be light and heat. Liquidity of water. So these are the examples of dharma, of a substance. And a jiva, a living entity, is a substance. Jiva, soul, is a substance. An inherent characteristic of the soul is the dharma of the soul. And what is that dharma? To love Krishna. So wherever there is a living entity, there is consciousness. Wherever there is consciousness, there is desire. And this desire, the ultimate and manifestation of desire, is to love. And through the love comes joy that everybody is hankering for. So this is how it has been pointed out. The fulfillment of one's existence is in developing his loving relationship with Krishna, because that's the soul is hankering for. In this material nature, everyone is hankering for love. And through that love, one wants to experience joy. But in the material nature, it's not happening. We are trying to experience joy, but that endeavor for joy is ultimately culminating into sorrow and suffering. Look at the greatest love stories in this world. Most of the love stories are ending in tragedy. And that's it. Ultimately, in death do they part. Like, especially in the West, like all the love stories are ending. And actually, that's the material nature. Whether it's Romeo and Juliet, whether it's Laila Majnu, whether it's Helen of Troy, all these love stories are ending in immense tragedy. Why? Because this love is not meant to be offered to any material object or material entity. This love is actually meant to be offered to Krishna. Why? Because through love we become connected. Through love we become united. Love is the means that brings us together, makes us united. Now, if we want to be connected to Krishna, what is the link? What is the connection? How can we be connected? And that's the point. This love is the means for connection to Krishna. The love is actually meant to be offered to Krishna. And when this love is offered to any other object, it is actually a wrong imposition of that love, mistaken imposition of that love. Now, on the other hand, when we offer that love to Krishna, then that love becomes distributed to everybody else. It's not that we shouldn't love others. The point is, love Krishna, then everybody else also will be loved. You love somebody without Krishna, that love will meet at the end with a tragedy. And you can see, like, what to speak of separating at death. And nowadays, the biggest love stories are actually ending in divorce. They fall in love, they get married, and when they fell in love, they thought that they won't be able to live without each other. And then they get married, and soon after that, they start to fight with each other. And that fight actually ends in separation. In most cases, that's what is happening in today's world. And why? Because the love is not meant to be offered to anybody else. On the other hand, when we offer the love to Krishna, then yes, we develop a genuine love for everybody else. And the example for that is watering the root of a tree. Instead of watering the leaves and branches and twigs, just water the root, and the whole tree will be nourished. Just develop your love for Krishna, and that love will spread throughout the universe to all living entities. Boshudhaiva kutumbakam, that is the understanding of the Vedas. The entire universe, Boshudha, entire Earth planet, actually is one family. And when we develop a love for Krishna, then we see how it's a family. We develop that love for everyone else. Like, the story of Mrigari, the hunter. He was such a cruel hunter. And by developing his love for Krishna, he wouldn't even step onto an ant due to his fear of hurting the ant. So that is a devotee. And he can develop such love for everyone because of his love for Krishna. Because sthabar jangam dekhe na dekhe tar murti. Sarvatra furoye tar ishtadev spurti. He doesn't see sthabar, non-moving and moving living entities. He doesn't see the external appearance or external manifestation. Everywhere he sees his worshipable Lord Krishna in everyone's heart. And that is a devotee, that is a pure devotee who has developed his love for Krishna. So, and this loving relationship again manifests through 7 secondary mellows. Their hashya, laughter, adbhut, wonder, vira, chivalry, mellow of chivalry, rodra, anger, bibhatsa, ghastly, bhayanak, frightening, and karun, pathos. So these 7 secondary mellows blend with in a specific way to increase that loving mellows. So this is how Rupa Goswami instructed. Rupa Goswami was instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is one of the most important aspects of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. And tomorrow we'll discuss about the teachings of Sanatana Goswami. Today I thought that I would cover both, but I realized that it won't be possible to cover Rupa Goswami's teachings and the Sanatana Goswami's teachings. And so I decided to do just Rupa Goswami, teaching to Rupa Goswami today, and tomorrow we'll do Sanatana Goswami. And if we have any time, then we'll try to cover Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's meeting and discussion with Ramananda Roy, which is actually giving the ultimate understanding of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So let us see. Thank you all very much. Now we'll open up the question answer session.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, the quiz, yeah. The result of the quiz. Okay, so this is a virtual retreat day, second quiz retreat. Total participation was 86, and so there are 3 positions. In third position, there are 4. Very good. So generally the deities in temple are worshipped in the middle of Vaikuntha. And that is Shanta and Dasya, mainly servitorship. Right? The deities are worshipped in the mood of servitorship. Okay? Yeah, you have to unmute. You have to unmute the. Do you have to unmute?
Yeah, I'm doing Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guru Maharaj, my next question to you is that in scriptures, where can we find the reference
What? I couldn't hear you. The sound got wobbled.
Scriptures, where we can find the reference that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes.
What
Where is
was
the
it?
reference in? Where is the reference in the scriptures? Where is the? Yeah.
Okay. Well, there are various. Say, for example, Mahabharata is saying, Shuvarna Varna Hemanga, Baranga Chandanangadi, Shannasha Krichamo Santa, Nishtha Shanti Parai. The Lord will appear in the age of Kali with a golden complexion. Shuvarna Varna Hemanga. Varangas Chandanangadi. His beautiful body will be decorated with sandalwood paste, sandalwood pulp. And Shannasha Krit, he will accept sannyas. And Shamo Shanta Nishtha Shanti Parayana. He'll teach the principle of renunciation and peacefulness and equanimity to everyone. And in this way, he will show the path of actual peace and prosperity. Srimad Bhagavatam also is saying that the Supreme Personality, I'm sure you know that verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will come assuming a non-dark complexion. Krishna Varnam, Disha Akrishnam, chanting the holy name of Krishna all the time. Krishna Varnam, Disha Krishnam, Sangha Pangastra Parshadam, he will come with his associates. And he will establish the principle Jaggai Sankirtana Prayat. He will establish a very special kind of sacrifice called Sankirtan Yajna, the Yajna of chanting the holy name. Jajantihi Sumedhasa. And the people in the age of Kali will worship him through this process of Sankirtan. Alright? So you got the reference? Okay, and there are many other references also. So I'm not getting into it.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Yes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Yes. Purnachandra.
Question.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Hi, Bob. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj, as you said that we have to offer love to Krishna, so through our mind, like offering Krishna the love. So like mind, we usually wander our mind for so many days, and our mind is not in Krishna, but other than everything. So offering love is like through mind, or how we offer love to Krishna.
Yeah. You see, mind is the head is the seat of mind. Does anyone ever say that I love you with all my head? Then what does one say? I love you with all my heart. And heart is the seat of the soul. So we love, it's the soul that loves, not the mind. Mind simply tries to enjoy this material nature, right? And that mind can be brought under control by thinking about Krishna all the time. Okay?
So usually our mind wanders so much, and then how do we like heart?
When do you begin to love Krishna with all your heart, then mind will come and fall at the feet of your heart. Okay, you don't wander anymore.
And Guru Maharaj, I have sorry. Guru Maharaj, my question is like in situation now, Corona situation. Usually in the before Corona situation, like we had so many things to do that we were willing to do, and then we were thinking, because of so many activities we have, because of children's that we are not able to give the time. But since we have coronavirus and we have a lot of time, and then like mind tricks us saying, oh, we have 24 hours, so we can do reading and listening later, it's fine. It wonders. So can you give some guidance, like how?
I didn't got the question actually. What was your question?
Yeah, actually, she is trying to see that when before the coronavirus, Guru Maharaj, that we were struggling for the time, so not able to do seva. But now we have time, but the mind is saying that you have time, so because of that we have lethargy and we are not able to do seva. So how to, we need guidance from you.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that when you get up in the morning, beat your mind with a shoe 100 times, right? And at night, when you go to sleep, beat your mind with a broom 100 times. So that's your mind will come under control, right? So at least in the morning, you beat your mind with a shoe and tell the mind, oh, my mind, don't be naughty, don't be such a rascal. Listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what Srila Prabhupada has told in his books. Just remember Krishna all the time and never forget Krishna. All right? And then see what happens. Okay? Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Anish, is that?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dharan Pranam Guru Maharaj. I have a question. You said in the lecture that the Madhurya Ras is of two kinds, which is Shwakiya and Parakiya, and you gave example that the Swakiya Ras is experienced by the queens in Dwarka. And you also said that the Madhurya Ras is higher than Vatsalya Ras. So my question is that I thought that the love which is experienced in Dwarka is lower than which is experienced in Golok Vrindavan. So is it that the Swakiya Ras which is experienced by the queens is lesser than Vatsalya?
Not Vatsalya. You see, Madhur Ras has two aspects, right? Swakiya and Parakya, not Vatsalya. Parakya means the loving relationship between two unmarried couples, right? And Swakiya is love between married couples. So the love is more intense when it is among unmarried couples. Okay, it's not Vatsalya. Swakiya, that Madhurya, that conjugal mellow has two aspects, right? Loving relationship between and loving relationship between lover and paramour. Okay, any other question?
Guru Maharaj, we have 8 more questions. Next is Dhananjay Krishnadas.
8 more questions. Okay, let me see.
Dhananjay Krishnadas, Prabhuji, you are on.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for a wonderful class, Guru Maharaj. The question I have is, Guru Maharaj, like I know you talked about the creeper, and the creeper which when we perform this devotional service, the creeper grows and finally attains the prema bhakti. But then this material desires which is there in the heart, being a grahastha, the material desires somehow it is keep coming up, and having the family commitments and other things, it's totally difficult to get rid of that material desires.
I think I got your question. Since there's so many questions, I'll just go straight. Yes. So there is a question. As long as you're in the material platform, yes, these tendencies will be there. They're natural. Therefore, they have to be dovetailed. You see, these tendencies have to be dovetailed, right? Yes, you have your responsibility towards your family as a householder. But then recognize that your family is not your family. Your family is Krishna's family. Your children are not your children. They're Krishna's children. Your wife is not your wife. She's a maidservant of Krishna. So this is how, you see, you make your household situation into an ashram. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, we have question.
Yeah, okay, please. Yeah.
We have question from Dhananjay Krishna.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the class. So the question was, so you said that Sanatana Goswami was hesitant to quit his job. So why was he so hesitant to quit his job, unlike Rupa Goswami?
Sanatana Goswami, I didn't start today. I'll speak about Sanatana Goswami tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Today I spoke about Rupa Goswami. I said that about Sanatana Goswami we'll discuss tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jadunath.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Harival. Thank you very much. You're giving all of these classes in the morning, you're giving classes in the evening, you're giving classes, and you still come across as so bright and cheerful. Thank you so much for your mercy.
You're helping me to remember Krishna all the time.
So jumping back to the Bhaktilata Bij, the soil of our hearts needs to be fertile. So how can we till the soil of our hearts? How can we make it a fertile place and help others to make their hearts a fertile place?
Yeah. The fertility of the soil of the heart depends on faith.
Hmm.
You see, it's the faith that actually causes the fertility. Unless and until one has the faith, that seed of the devotional creeper will not fructify.
Okay. It starts with
Right.
faith. Adoshada. Thank you.
Adoshana. Yeah, right. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we have Hawaii Nova 2 file. Prabhuji or Mataji, you are next.
Thank you very much everyone for watching it so attentively. So I will request now as well as Bhakti Swami Maharaj to kindly announce the
next is
quiz result.
Srinivas Guru Prabhuji. You are on unmute. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Hare Krishna.
Srinivas Guru Prabhuji.
There is staff competition. Participants 74.
Okay, we have
third position.
Aditya Narayan Prabhu next.
95 marks.
Aditya Narayan Prabhu, if you want to ask your question.
Gaurangi Priyadashi from Howrah.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Jivan Vishnu.
Ujjain. Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture series. It was so enlivening. So, Guru Maharaj, I had two questions, but first, one of the questions Yadnath Prabhu just asked about making the heart fertile. So, my second question is, Guru Maharaj,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
on Saturday night, you were expressing, you're making the point that how we are so fortunate to receive
Your
this
daughter
mercy
was
of
first
Chaitanya
position.
Mahaprabhu. And
Thank you.
you made the point that when we actually realize how fortunate we are, then we can be more determined in our devotional service. So my question is, Guru Maharaj, like, how can we always be in that consciousness
97 out of
that
100.
we are so fortunate
Mandir
to
is here.
actually have
I think his father.
because we tend to
father's
forget
name
and
should be
then
there.
it's like
Mandir, very small girl. Very
Well,
father's name should be.
reading Prabhupada's books
Where is
is
Mandir?
the answer to that. Because when you read Srila Prabhupada's books, we become aware
In first position,
what an amazing wealth
2%.
we have
Shiv
received.
Kumar Krishna Prabhu from Varanasi and Prem
And
Rupa
that,
Radharasi
recognizing
from
that
Surat.
the value of that wealth will
Yesterday,
make
she was
us,
third. Today, she was upset.
recognize the good fortune that we have. So that's why Prabhupada's book
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,